Good morning, everyone. Shirley here. I was doing some arenas this morning, and I haven't made a PvP video in a while, so I thought it would be fun to share a few of my matches I was having. Nothing too serious today, just kind of going over my general thoughts and strategy as I approach each of these matches. We're getting right into this one with a Rogue Mage. This is around 21-ish 100 MMR, I want to say. Between 21 and 2200 are most of these games today. So my general thoughts going into Rogue Mage is defensive. Play for time and, you know, really just disrupt their opener and damage as much as possible. So I'm rolling Disarm, Spell Reflect, and what do you call it? The Rallying Cry. It's PvP talent instead of Banner here, because Banner usually just gets one-shotted these days anyway, so I like the Rally talent instead. I did go ahead and disarm the Rogue after he trinketed my fear in the opener there. Now I'm just trying to keep up with how fast I'm going into this match, actually. I'm putting as much pressure on this Rogue as I possibly can. He does get swept up here, and I'm just trying to get bleeds on him. I am running Rend for this matchup as well. I'm going to go ahead and trinket that cheap shot and knock down the Rogue. Now I could really pull it back and break down that video, but we're going to get right into the next match. Fighting a Resto Druid and a Survival Hunter. Something more typical you'll see around this rating is, you know, generally healer comps. I didn't play this one the best, to be honest, but we'll get a round 2 versus the same team after this match. So we're going to go ahead and start out on the Hunter here, immediately get cloned up by the Druid. And I'm going to choose to sit this clone, and the next one, and the next one, while the get that all in DR while the Hunter's pressuring my Monk here. Now, I am going to fear that root because I don't want to get, you know, tied up any longer. I'm going to stun up the Hunter here and just try to get some pressure rolling on him. I do burn every cooldown of the game. We're just going to go ham here, you know, zug zug. But we are going to get rooted again. We do get good pressure here. I am running Avatar for this a lot of the time right now. Actually, I was running In for the Kill a lot in the past with Rend, but now that I have 3 Gathering Storm, Lord of War, pieces of Azerite gear at 415, Avatar is really nice for just getting just big burst on targets, which I quite like. Really gets, you know, the ball rolling when you're just getting CC'd constantly or kited in the current meta, and Warriors aren't the strongest class by any means right now in PvP, so anything to get things rolling is definitely good. I did go ahead and burn my Maledict there, and I rallied for my Monk as well. I noticed that the Druid was coming in to get some damage on him. I believe he was cat weaving in this matchup, and we're just going to go ahead and keep pressuring this Hunter as much as possible. We do get trapped up here, but the Druid doesn't take this opportunity to really top the Hunter, so I'm going to Stormbolt him and get back on him into an end cap from my Monk there. And we're just going to get a ton of pressure, and the Druid, or the Hunter here, is going to be running away, of course. I do have Leap Up, and ironically, now that I changed to a Goblin, Rocket Jump comes in pretty, you know, handy from time to time, catching up to targets. That's kind of the idea of one of the reasons why I kind of wanted to try it out for a bit. We did get a little bit of CC from the Monk on the Druid there. I'm going to fear him up, stun down this Hunter, so he can't really get away. But he is going to get Turtle out of it anyway, and it doesn't matter. We've got cooldowns rolling. I got Avatar, so I'm going to go ahead and swap to the Druid. He doesn't have any of, you know, hots up on him, so we're going to get a ton of pressure on him. And this is, you know, one of the nice things about running Avatar is you can just really peel out a ton of pressure on a swap like that. Unfortunately, I didn't have my Trinket up there, so I couldn't chase the Druid down, but doesn't matter. We're going to go ahead and swap that pressure back on over to the Hunter right now, because Druids are so strong and prevalent in today's meta at the moment. You know, you want to be swapping as much as you possibly can, for the most part, versus teams as a Warrior, just to keep those hots ping-ponging back and forth, and this is where Sharpened Blade is really going to come in handy. I'm going to go ahead and shrink it out of that right there and just keep tunneling as much pressure into this guy as I possibly can. I do Storm there. That was mostly just to stop any kind of incoming CC if the Druid was going to try to bash me. I wasn't sure if he had it up or not, but I just wanted to, you know, keep that Gathering Storm stack rolling, and a lot of people would cancel their Blade Storm there, but I found that most of the time you just want to go ahead and let the full duration channel out, even in execute range, to get that extra strength buff if you do have 3 Gathering Storms. So now we're into the next match, and this is a rematch versus the same team, I believe, same comp at least. And I'm going to go ahead and burn my trinket immediately there and go over and fear that druid because I didn't want him just clone spamming my monk up right there. Now, one thing I am going to do here is when I pop Avatar and my trinket, my cooldowns, I'm going to Blade Storm before I Warbreaker. And the reason I do that a lot of times in PvP is because when you're hitting 2 targets, you can pressure them both down and gather up that stack, and then at the end of the Blade Storm, they've usually popped some sort of defensive or done something or ran away like the Druid did there, and that allows you to hit that really big Warbreaker with that huge strength buff out of it and swap accordingly. You can kind of pick which target you're going to actually single target down and burst at that point. It adds a lot of depth to your window if you can stack up a couple of targets, and Arms' main strength right now is just being able to cleave, of course, like it's been for a long time, that and Sharpened Blade. But I'm going to go ahead and save my Blade Storm here until that turtle, or aspect of the turtle, is about off. Clutch Ring of Peace from my monk here to boot that cast off him. Also catches the end cap. I'm going to go ahead and chase down the Druid because I got Sharpen up and I got him low. I want to go ahead and get both my bleeds up on him. And he's casting again, so I stunned up that clone. And I believe I'm going to go ahead and dot up the hunter here as well when he gets away. Yeah, he's going to jump up there, so there's no reason to try and chase. We're going to immediately just swap targets here and keep pressuring down the hunter. I do have disarm up at this point, but I've got him so low that I'm just going to go for damage here and just, try to get in as many executes as I can. I don't have death sentence at the moment, so I got to be, within melee range to get him down. I swapped out death sentence for disarm for this matchup, and I was running the Blade Storm traits, whatever it's called, that makes it a minute cooldown, and Sharpen Blade, because Sharpen you pretty much need in every matchup, so you just take what you can get. And down goes that team. So next we're fighting a Resto Shaman and an Unholy Death Knight. Now Resto Shamans aren't terrible, but their healing throughput is definitely lower than a lot of healers in the arena right now. So I'm going to go ahead and just put as much pressure on him as I possibly can in this matchup, especially when I saw the Abomination go down there from the Death Knight. I wanted to get away from that as fast as possible and start pressuring this Shaman. So I'm going to chase him down, and it's all about spread pressure here. I'm going to go ahead and rend up the Death Knights and the Shaman both and just cleave them as much as possible. I got Sweeping Strikes up here, so it's just, as much spread pressure as I can put out, just because I know that Shaman's going to be, hurting in the long run, especially if he's not properly kiting. And the Death Knight here is doing, an okay job. He's peeling me away, but he's not Chains of Icing me, quite as much as he probably should have. My Monk rolls in here for the double leg sweep, which really set us up nice, so I can get even more pressure out. We do get Link right here. I'm going to go ahead and just Blade Storm during it. He runs out of the Link. He could have stayed in it because I didn't actually kill the Link there for that little bit of mitigation, but, it doesn't really matter at this point. I've got them both so low that I can hit whatever I want, basically. Go ahead and use that rocket jump to try to get in another execute on that guy, but didn't quite connect with him. We did get the Ring of Peace boot back, so he couldn't get around the corner, and we'll go ahead and finish off that Shaman. And they're going to learn their lesson after that one, because this last match we're bringing today is a rematch, and the Death Knight and the Shaman definitely wised up to our shenanigans of chasing the Shaman down. So he's just going to immediately asphyxiate me off the get-go here and pop every cooldown like most melee classes do. I'm going to go ahead and flop over into D-stance here and, hit like a wet noodle for a little bit as I attempt to chase down the Shaman. Unfortunately, he gets away from me, and I didn't have charge back up. He's just out of range of hamstring, so I DR stunned him there. Probably shouldn't have done that, but we're going to go ahead, and I didn't blow parry right there because I knew that I used Rally, and I knew that my Monk still had Cocoon up. I wanted to save parry in this matchup because as an Arms Warrior, if you use parry really early, you're excuse me, you're putting yourself in a really poor position behind, any kind of pressure. It's just not good. You want to be saving onto that, even in those sticky situations right there. But luckily, we did finally catch up and get some decent pressure on both of them. He's doing a lot better job of running around this game, but it turns out, but they just can't really keep up with the pressure of hitting multiple targets and just cleaving them all down like this. So once again, similar situation, we get them into execute range here off the Storm. Now I do notice that my Monk is getting low, so I'm going to charge off this Death Knight here and just root him for a second to give him some breathing room. And we're going to go ahead and try to chase back down on the Shaman here. They are doing a better job at peeling away, but we're going to keep up with him. I do have Stormbolt back up. He's going to go ahead and trinket that. I believe when I catch up back with this Shaman here, he actually blocked my hamstring, which was really unfortunate, which just, makes it all the more difficult to kite him here. But I see A-Bomb is down again, and that's a bit of a problem. We're going to go ahead and Storm to break these slows and get back on the Shaman here. I'm going to go ahead and burn Parry here because I realize that me and my Monk have used most of our cooldowns. I want to stay offensive and close out this match right now. We can't really afford to drag this out. So we're going to use Parry offensively, get the Stormbolt, and sweep down the Shaman. And take that victory as well. And that'll be it for today's video, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed. If you have any questions about Arms PvP or Fury for that matter, feel free to leave them down below, and I will see you next time. Peace.
That's it.